lot of talk throughout the year about finishing top four, but I guess it's impossible to avoid it now with one game to go.
Facts, isn't it? It's up for grabs. It's obviously, funnily enough, come down to round 23. And when you talk right through the year, when people want to talk about where you're going to be, where you're not going to be, that's why you don't buy into it too often, because you know it can go right down to the wire. And as we're going over to Perth to take it on and see how we go.
How confident do you think you are? Do you think you're playing in the form that can beat the Dockers away from home?
Oh, I'm really confident that our best form can compete against any of the teams in the competition, and we understand that playing over in Perth's certainly one of the toughest trips you can go on at the moment. But it's one that we've still got enough confidence about going over there and saying that we can actually go hard against them and give ourselves a great chance.
Where do you see your best chance of beating them when you beat them?
Oh, it'll come down purely to who gets their hands on the ball a little bit first, I think, and I think Fremantle are very good big body midfielders who are able to get the ball in their half of the ground. If we let them dominate that part of the game, and that's the start, where your fingerprints are on the ball a bit, that will mean that we're in a bit of trouble. So we've got to be able to win our share of the ball.
Ken, how much does that change because of the ruck change that you had this time around?
Oh, it's still significant for us to try and handle, Sandilands. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he's an outstanding ruckman. He gets his hand on the ball more than any other ruck in the competition and hits to advantage. So there's things that we've got to certainly work off a little bit. But we also know that that Lobes is in pretty good form himself, and he wasn't there last time when we played against him. So we look forward to seeing what he can actually do up against what we consider one of the best rucks in the comp.
Can you play a losing ruck in the sense that concede to Sandilands? He's going to give him most of the hit-outs that's set up to actually win the clearances? Yeah,
you don't actually have to concede, because most times he wins most of the hit-outs because he's just purely on size and reach. He does get his hand on the ball a bit more, but you still got to back your team in, and we'll back in Lobes to go and win his share of the hits, and we'll set up structurally around that to back him in to win the hits for us, to put in the areas that we want it to be.
Ken, I think Hayden Valentine, Germany, you did a great job on him last time we were here. Is that the reason he comes back, or will you rotate between him and Walters?
Oh no, he's certainly in for their small forwards. There's no doubt about that. And Camo Show's incredibly unlucky to go out of the side, to be fair. But Jarman Impey has got to come in and play on their smalls. They've got two or three of them there, not just Ballantyne. But he did play well on Ballantyne last time. Doesn't guarantee you much though. It's a big show of faith in the young fellow, I reckon, to say let's come in and have a go at it. And I really do trust Jarman. He'll give his absolute best. He's playing on quality opponents though, so it still might be pretty hard for him.
What do you think he's learned? Sorry, just with Jarman. What do you think he's learned in his time off in the SANFL?
I think the key thing for Jarman is that he actually understands his number one role is to really defend hard first and not to take too many risks with the defensive side of the game. And when you get into the side, he played a lot. Let's be honest, he's played a lot of football in his first year, so he's probably not quite been as sharp on the areas that we needed him on, and that's that defensive stuff. And we think that going back to the SANFLs, just sharpen him up a little bit. We did give him the week off last week, deliberately planning on having him fresh and available to take on this game, because we know it was a big game, we know it's a big ground, and we know he's going to get asked to run a fair bit.
Do you see that with young, on the Gold Coast, you see that with young players come in and maybe get a little bit comfortable at the top level after they've been playing a little bit?
Oh, and I wouldn't say Jarman got comfortable. I'd just say he got distracted sometimes about how he was going about his job, and that's what happens. They come in and they just need to be really on the job all the time. And if they slip up a little bit, unlike an experienced player, they can gather themselves back together pretty quickly. I think a young and inexperienced player can, if you start the game a little bit off, you can continue that way.
Can your pre-game with the in excess never tear us apart is a real feature. Everyone that comes and sees it says it's great. It's been given permission for you guys to use it in the finals. I know it probably doesn't mean much to you, but great for the fans.
It's outstanding for we deserve that as a football club. We've done a great job. Our events people and our administration team and all the people who've put on the show at Adelaide Oval, they deserve that opportunity to, wherever we finish on the ladder, whenever we get a chance to play at Adelaide Oval, we deserve the opportunity to use it as our home game.
How does Matt White get through the week?
Yeah, really well.
Because of the risk factor with him, do you consider him safe, or?
Oh yeah, no, he's fine. No, he's fine. We took him out last week. We managed him because we were in that position that we could, which helps us obviously going into this week. And we're very mindful that Whitey's had a big load this year. And he's got to a point, like a lot of players, they get to a point where they get a bit tighter. But we've been able to give him 2 or 3 weeks off. We've subbed him and took him out of the game. We've actually probably got him in really good shape, to be honest.
Has it been a different vibe around the club this week?
I think it's been up and about, to be honest. The boys have been really good, even through the times where we're just a little bit off our game. I think their attitude to what they're trying to achieve has always been the same. Certainly this week, you've only got to go outside and you feel like it's a bit more exciting. I mean, the weather's fantastic. It's that time of the year where everyone gets a little bit more excited. These boys are no different to any other club. They'll go out there at what I do know, they'll go about it the same way, which is pleasing for me.
And how challenging is it against Fremantle that you can win stoppage, but you actually then have to move the ball away from the stoppage?
Oh, I think it's a significant challenge. That one, you've got to get your opportunities at the stoppage and be effective from it. It's not just win the stoppage; you've got to be effective from the stoppage, and that's a challenge. Fremantle and Ross, the way he's coached, they're an outstanding defensive team. We think we're a pretty good defensive team too, so it will be a bit of a challenge for both sides, I'm sure, at times to move the ball. But you've just got to keep at it, and we do know it's small margins games. You've got to keep at it, and there's going to be times where it's not going to quite be our way, and it's not going to be quite their way. It's just going to be how many of those margins we can turn into our favour.
Can we take 1 or 2 extra just in case?
3. Maggie's not playing, so we don't need to take any risks. We can take our 3 emergencies with us, and make sure we're covered on all bases. And you can see by the selection of emergencies, almost it's a back, it's a midfielder, and it's a forward. So we're covering all bases. We've had 2 or 3 trips this year where we've gone away and had people get crook on us. So we don't need to have any risks with that. So we won't.
None of that happening. There's no one.
No, everyone's fine. I mean, you've seen them out there today. They're all fine. There would have to be something go wrong overnight for a change to happen.
And how difficult is it to take advantage of the space on Subi against Ross and the way he plays that?
Well, I think that's the key. It's against his team structure and his team defence that they do make it difficult. It's a skinny ground, so it makes it easier. Some people think it's a big ground. It's actually a skinny ground, so it actually allows you to press with a little bit more confidence. It's being able to get out to the back to that bigger space, which is really hard to do.
Then you haven't beaten a top 8 side since round 10. Do you read anything into that, or is that a concern, especially when you're vying for a top 4 spot?
No, I'm trying to think who we've played in that period, but no, I don't think so. We've played pretty well against some good sides. I think the Richmond game we were one or 2 kicks away from going over them. I felt in that game. The Essendon game, bad kicking probably, and credit to both sides. They put us under pressure, but we've been in all our games. I mean, we've got the smallest losing margin of the competition. I think it's about 12 points over our losses. So I don't think it's got too much. We played Sydney only 3-4 weeks ago in a game that I thought we were right in, and they're sitting on top of the ladder, so I don't have any problems with taking them on.
Hamish said you felt pace was the key to beating Freo at Subi. Is that the key for you to get amongst their zones, is to move the ball quickly?
It's not. It just won't be purely simply using pace or speed and all those sorts of things that everyone wants. It'll be about where you can get the ball at times and what position you can turn that into a bit of pace. And it's just going to be a really tough game at times, and it's going to be at times when it opens up for you, you've got to make it count.
Do you think that's what was lacking during your form slump during the middle part of the year? Is that a bit of pace and explosion?
Yeah, but I think it's more a reflection of the opposition. I said that during that period of time, the opposition were able to restrict us a little bit, and we went a little bit safe. We know that when we're playing safe, that's going to be dangerous for us. And on a negative point of view, we've got to make sure we're prepared not to be too safe with the ball. But you just can't go silly when you're trying to play football. You've got to have great composure, and we talk about that every week. Composure is the key ingredient to decision making, and if you can get that, you're okay. Fremantle incredible at taking that composure away from you.
So it must be good then for a coach and for the players to know they've got the belief just to turn it on when they need it against a top 4 side like that.
I don't think they think that. I think they know that it's hard work that makes them play the way they need to play, and we understand that. We'll never be any different. We're going to be a hard working football team all the time, and some days hopefully we're going to have great days, and other days where we're going to have some days where it doesn't quite work for us. But I think what you see with us is that most times we turn up, we stay in a game, and we play a pretty similar way if we can.
Can you saw last year where this program led to Alan Richardson finally getting a senior job? Do you worry about what will happen at the end of this year and how clubs will come after your staff?
No, I think it's credit to the club. If that was the case, I mean, I think our staff are very happy. I don't think there's any problems with that. And we're reading the story this morning that I noticed about Phil. I don't have any problems with any of that sort of stuff. That's footy. That's the way it works. If your staff are happy, they'll be okay. And if they get great opportunities sometimes, like Richo got, I wish them the best.
Is Matthew Nix the next one? So he could get that opportunity to...
Nixie?
Yeah.
Oh, I think Nixie, Josh, Tyson, Buddha, all those blokes that are that are around and working with us, they're all great workers. They're all great people, and they all work pretty hard at what they're trying to achieve. And if any of them get that opportunity, I think it's credit to them.